Hi guys, welcome once more to your favorite YouTube channel, Havila School of Marriage, where we give you first-hand information on marriage, relationships, and the family.
Family.
And as you know, our objective is the same, to lead you into a glorious marriage and guide you to live a trans-generational legacy.
Legacy.
It will interest you to know that we are 10 years in marriage and courtship. We just celebrated our 7th anniversary, but we were in courtship for 3 years before entry into marriage. And I remember that fateful day when this beautiful girl came and gave me her response. She told me yes. And that day, my joy was amazing. And that was on the 15th of October 2013. I like keeping dates, especially when it comes to this matter, because it contributes to make the story even more beautiful. So, we are going to be sharing a series on friendship because many people don't really know how you could meet someone for the first time, propose marriage to the person, and then the person becomes your friend even before you get into marriage. As many people think that you should meet somebody, become a friend to the person before you propose. And usually it brings a lot of consequences because if at the end you don't propose and the person has already developed feelings for you, it becomes a lifetime heartbreak that can dampen somebody's life forever. And so God created this channel through which when you meet the person while you propose marriage and you are preparing for the marriage or the wedding, you build friendship. So we are going to be sharing with you how we build friendship with each other. Yeah, so today we are beginning with this beautiful wife, my pearl, my lover, my lifetime lover, my
Oh,
administrator, and the director of HSOM.
ooh la
Wow, shout
la.
out to the director of HSOM. Yeah.
Thank you, sweetheart. So today we're focusing on why I initially rejected his proposal for marriage. Who would think that I did? I kept him in the waiting room for 7 months.
Indeed. I waited until
Okay. Actually, there were several reasons why I was not I was not in a hurry, first of all, to get into a relationship, talk less of getting married. So marriage was not even on my mind.
mm,
The first thing that I had as a
the
barrier
error
was
of
because
many young people at
yes.
your age who think that they are not
Mm,
yet ready and they miss their season.
yes. Actually my season blossomed very early. Immediately I left high school, I started receiving proposals for marriage. In short, before I even returned from school, there was already somebody waiting for me to give a response, and it was such a shock to me. I was like, man, this who is even talking about marriage and all of that. And then when I got into the faculty, we shared our story about how we met. You may want to check the video to watch. So when his proposal came, the first challenge I had was that I saw him as an elder brother. I looked up to him. Two, he was my mentor and my spiritual guide. He taught us the word. He led us, many of us. And that was a relationship I had with him. And for me, it was just amazing. And I loved the relationship at that level. I didn't imagine it going to the next level. I don't see him as this spiritual brother, brother Chris. That's how I used to call him in those days. He was okay. He is, and he was so spiritual. But there was an aspect of him that I didn't know, of course. This friendly part. He related to us as children in the Lord. And that was the face of him also, of course, with so much love and all of that. But I didn't see a life partner in him. So that was the first barrier that I faced. The fact that I could not stop seeing him as my spiritual mentor and guide, to start seeing him as a friend, was still a life partner. I was like, impossible. True, I did not see the signs coming when he initially had me in mind. But as the days went by, he started asking some strange questions, and I'll be like, why would he want to start asking me stuff things? And I started asking myself that, I hope that he's not having plans to propose marriage or something, because I was in a phase where I was having a lot of proposals for marriage, and that was all my worst time when I just feel like somebody wants to Sometimes if I want to even propose, I was like, "Please don't propose marriage. I don't want to get married." I was like, "Don't even do it. Just leave it here, end it." So that was one of my nightmares. And I remember that fateful day when he set a trap, him and one of his spiritual sons for me. He actually invited me out. He knew that if he invites me, then I will not accept. So he invited spiritual children. And then I was like, just two of us. You have many of us. How come it's just two people? So I began to suspect that something is fishy somewhere. But of course, my spiritual father have to obey. There was no way that I could be like, okay. And then since the other person too was there, shout out to Dr. Dan. He's the one that did that together with him. So as we evolved, we went out, we went somewhere, went ice cream and all of that. And then very soon, Dr. Dan was given an excuse that he needs to go and do something. Ha! And behold, the bomb finally landed. I'm not sure I heard anything he said that day, but in my mind, it was a no. And since I could not be disrespectful to him, to just say no immediately, I was like, okay, just give me some time, I'll pray about
And in fact, when I
it.
finished proposing, imagine you propose to a woman and when you finish, she doesn't say a word. She made as if I said nothing, and then she got up and took her pictures and left.
Really, I didn't tell you that I'll pray
No, he
about
said
it.
nothing. He said nothing. And then when we drop, I drop her. She dropped from the taxi. She just said, "See you." She said nothing. She went highway.
The shock was too much, I tell you. And I was disappointed. I was like, I prayed and I was like, God, why do you not stop him from proposing? And there was really nothing to say. So that was the first thing. The second barrier that I faced was that I had a friend which I considered really more mature than me because of the visions she used to have, revelations of the word, all of that. And in that confusion, sure, I don't want to talk about it to anybody, given that he was our spiritual leader. And I felt that it was not correct to talk about it to somebody lower than him. And at that time, I was not close to his spiritual parents at that time. So it's not as if I could go to them. And then he was my own spiritual parent. So there was really nobody that could really freely discuss the burden I had in my heart. But anyway, 2 weeks after I met him and I told him that I prayed about it and God said that you are not my husband. Trust me, I not prayed about it at all. I didn't want to think about it. And then I
In
was
fact,
shocked.
that proposal came on the 23rd of March,
Yes.
2013,
Mm-hmm.
and she came in April by the 11th of April and told me she has prayed about it and she heard God that I'm not her husband. And I remember when I heard, I said, "Okay, no problem."
That was the worst
I
part.
went and saw her off and came back.
I was like, why is he taking me? Why is my response not? He made as if I didn't even say anything. He didn't even. He was like, okay, and that was all. I felt offended again. I'm like, why is he not taking my no for a real no? But I could feel that
Mm.
he didn't consider the response I gave him. Anyway, I had done it and I was going. I'd given the response and that was it. And eventually, that my friend came and met me. And she was like, is everything okay? Are you sure all is well? Has she just asked me some questions and then finally landed on it's like you received a proposal for marriage from one of our leaders, blah blah blah. And I didn't want to tell lies. So I was like, okay, yes, this he proposed to me, all of that. I'm not sure if it was on the spot that she told me that. I'm not sure, or it was later. But along the line anyway, she told me that she doesn't think that I'm supposed to get married to him, that he made a mistake. I'm not the one to get married to him. And I was like, I'd always known. I'd always known that he was not the one. So I just stood on that response. I didn't hear God for myself. Oh. She said that she was convinced that that was not God in my life. And I automatically adopted the answer. And I stood on that point. 2 months later or so, you still came back again and said, okay, you're still waiting for my response. I'm like, you do that response again. Has the response already been given? And all of that. And then I think like 4 months into it again, you still reminded me. And I decided that, okay, I'll seek the face of God about this matter. By that time, the relationship between us, the mentor mentee relationship, was really strained. I
Mm.
used to still go for the cell meetings and our regular spiritual programs, but I was not involved. If I arrive when it's time for the meeting. I don't know. Before I used to
For
come
about seven
before.
months, she never looked at me again face to face.
Yeah, I'm no longer looking at him.
And when she'll come for the cell meeting, she will sit with her head down till immediately we finish, she will leave
Baba.
immediately and go. And
Before I used to come early, I'll
she
ask
used to answer
questions.
questions a
Ah,
lot, ask a lot of questions, but she became
brother,
the
I
coldest
did not have any question
in the
again.
cell meeting. And it was such a difficult period. Even for me, at
Yeah.
some time, I was feeling very guilty, very guilty. At some times, I didn't know what to expect with the next meeting or if I meet her again.
And then one of the last barriers that I had was that I've always wanted to get married to a man that is way taller than me.
Mm,
Fantasies of young ladies.
mm,
That tall, handsome. No, I just wanted a taller guy. That was just my main characteristic. He didn't care. I didn't care whether he was fair or dark or well, not really an issue. And he's taller than me, but not the difference is not too much. But it was not really a main something. And then I wanted a guy that was a bit more bulky, which he was. So it was not really an issue. And
mm,
I didn't really have a lot of all these characteristics for men. But one reason why I wanted a guy that was a bit bulky was because I didn't want something that I'll be trying to struggle with my weight. I want to be getting down. Maybe he will not be comfortable. And then if he's bulky and I get a bit bulky, he'll still be okay. But if he's slim and I get too bulky, so those are all things that young ladies have share. When I think about it now, I'm like, seriously, is that
mm.
even a criteria? But anyway, it was a minor criteria. It was not really a major something that I considered. And then that was when he came again. I think it was the second time, like five and a half months after the proposal, and he made his stance still clear, and he said that he wait for me to hear God, and he affirmed that he heard God about it for proposing to me, and he believes that I am the one for him and all of that, and that he would like me to really pray about it and give me my candid response after hearing God. And I was like, this brother is serious. So I was like, okay, let me pray about it.
Wow. And of course, many of you thought that was not romantic.
Yeah, did I not mention that one? That one of the character, one of the things. My God, yes, that was one. I remember on this day when I wanted to finally give my response to him or talk about it. One thing that I prayed and I told God, and I was like, why have you chosen this type of life for me? A life of only fasting and prayers, reading the word of God, no other thing, because it was so spiritual. And I was like, there's zero romance. And then I made up my mind. I said, okay, Father, if that what you have chosen for me, you know best, no problem. I accept. I'll go ahead with this type of life. But before then, there was something that began to break this barrier in my mind. The last time before he met me to affirm again that he's still waiting, he invited me to a restaurant. That time was in Bamenda. He was passing through Bamenda, so he called me and I had to meet him somewhere. And that restaurant at that time was one of the toppest in Bamenda. I didn't expect that that's where he would take to. So when I was supposed to wait for him, there was a snack bar around. When I went there, I just assumed, I've always known this is the type of place that he would take me to. So I just sat down. So when he finally arrived, I arrived before him. And he was like, what are you doing there? I'm like, I'm waiting for you. Now this place is waiting for you. He was like, no, this is where we're going to. We're going in front there. And I was like, he's taking me to this place. I'm like, this brother can also like nice things. So so I began to, so that there was also this from that move that he made, I was like, okay, maybe it's not really what I think. Maybe it's not as spiritus only. Of course, he was very and he's still very, very spiritus, but it's another part of him. My God. Then when I began to experience, I was like, so this is what God was trying to lure me into. And I was stubbornly making some prayer points and refusing. This guy is romantic. Trust me.
Mm.
I could not imagine, babe. I could not. But trust me, that was one of the reasons. Yes, I felt that it was not romantic at all. I felt that every day when we get up, we read the Bible from morning to night. We'll just be fasting from morning to night every day. No food, spiritual one for one all night to another all night. Of course, those things are still there. They're still there. And we do that in fun now. The romance is there 100%. And everything is just blending together. I'm
Wow.
so grateful.
So interesting. So imagine that she didn't overcome this.
Yes.
Would have missed out on each other.
And I'm so grateful that you waited. You were really patient. 7 months, man. Most people will move away. But you kept
Hmm.
on saying that I had God. I know that you are the one for me. That was what you were telling me
In
after
fact,
anyway.
actually, I determined that I will wait until the day she finally comes, that she has heard God about it. Because at the beginning, I knew that she didn't hear God. That's why it's good to hear His voice.
Yes.
If you hear His voice, when somebody tells you that I heard God, you will know whether the person heard or not. And so I waited, and I thank God I waited. We are going to end here
Thank you for
today. In our next
waiting.
session, we'll be seeing how I overcame discouragement. Because during that waiting moment, it was a very tough one.
Sorry
It
for
was a
once.
very tough one.
The waiting room.
Discouragement came several times. I was shocked, of course, because I knew that this lady that I've been leading, it will just be an easy matter. To my greatest dismay, 2 weeks later, she
Coco.
told me no. So we are going to be seeing how I overcame discouragement. We'll evolve from here to see how we build friendship. And today she's my best friend. 10 years together. 10
So
years
that
of
today.
friendship, 7 years of marriage, 3 years of courtship. It has been so amazing. And we believe, God, that this is going to change your perspective a lot and this is going to
Yes.
help you in your own relationship.
Mhm.
Yeah. Thank you very much and stay blessed. Stay tuned.